Hey guys, what is up? It's AXOLOTL, and today's video is another axolotl video. A lot of you guys have been asking me for more axolotl videos, so I'm obviously really wanting to do that for you guys. And since in my last video about axolotls, I just kind of told you about where they came from and the legend behind them and what they are, I figured that today we'll go ahead and do a care video on axolotls. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the video. Alright guys, so luckily Tilly is out. She's out so you guys can actually see her for this video. I'm proud of her. I think that's nice, since before she's hidden. She kind of just told me, she was like, okay, I'll be out for this video so they can see me. So she's out. And actually on that note, I may just go ahead and say that I really don't know if she is a girl or not. Axolotls take quite a long while to show their gender, so I have about 6 more months before I may really be able to tell if she is a boy or a girl. But since I didn't know, I just went ahead and said, oh, she's a girl, and I call her Tilly. So that's that. And so basically when it comes to care, let's just go ahead and kind of start off with tank size and requirements. Basically when they are juveniles or babies, they can get away with having a 10-gallon tank. But when they start growing and they get bigger, it is a lot better and more spacious to have them in a 20-gallon tank. So I think that that is definitely the minimum and perfect size for an axolotl. So if you're wanting one, just make sure that you have it budgeted that you will need a 20-gallon tank, which is what my tank is right here. And another thing about the tank that you are going to need to note is that it really doesn't matter necessarily what kind of filter it comes with, because you're probably going to have to alter it in some way. If you do end up keeping the filter that comes on your tank, then you'll probably have to put some aquarium foam in it, or you can just get rid of it altogether and get a sponge filter, which is what I have in here, because axolotls actually get really stressed if the flow in the tank is pretty high. So maybe the type of filter that you would have for your betta fish or any other type of fish, it may be too strong for an axolotl, so a sponge filter is a great alternative for that. And that's actually what I have in Tilly's axolotl tank right now. So far we have a 20-gallon tank and a low filtered filter or sponge filter for the tank. Now, number 3, this is very, very important. So axolotls actually do not have eyelids, just like we do, where we can close our eyes if the light gets too bright or anything like that. Axolotls don't have that. So in a tank, an axolotl is not going to benefit from having a tank light on for a long time. Really and honestly, you need to have the tank light off as frequently as possible, and for most of the time if possible, because axolotls, like I said, cannot close their eyes. So the longer amount of time that the tank light is off, the better. Isn't that right, Tilly? Isn't that right? Actually with Tilly, I never keep her light on. And if I do, it's maybe for an hour tops at night when I'm in my room. But even then, I honestly don't. Like, I can actually get a pretty good view of her with the light off anyway. So I just don't ever bother with turning it on. The only time that I really do ever turn it on is, like I said, maybe an hour at night. Or if I do want to get a picture of her, I will snap it on and then snap it off really fast, and that is literally it. So another thing to mention about axolotls is that they actually like their water cool. Pretty cool actually. In the 60s, around 63 to 64, anything like that is pretty much the perfect temperature. You really want to keep it like in the 60s because they really, really like cool water. Cold or better for them, pretty much. And so if you live in a really hot place, then you might even want to have a chiller in your tank, which is very expensive, or you can have a cheaper alternative, which would be a fan just on top of the tank facing into the water to chill it some. But if you do live in a cold place, or if it's the winter time and you test your water and it's perfect, then you probably wouldn't really have to have that until summertime, which is my case. The water normally stays at 63 degrees, and so I do not need a chiller or a fan right now. And so when it comes summertime, I will see like what's going on, and I'll probably use a fan because, like I said, chillers are expensive. But definitely put that into your expenses. 20-gallon tank, the sponge filter or low powered filter, a fan for the summertime. And next, this kind of goes along with them not having eyelids and not really being able to see well. One thing that an axolotl will probably need, especially if you do keep the light on for, you know, a significant amount of time, is a hide. And Tilly does not have one of these yet. And that's only because, like I said, I never do keep the light on, but soon I will be adding substrate, and I plan on getting her a hide when I do add substrate. One thing that's hard is finding the perfect hide, but I found one now thanks to a fan who showed me one, and so I have one in mind from chewy.com. So I'm gonna get that when I get the substrate, but definitely they will probably need a hide, because if you do have that light on, or there's any like significant light in the room, it kind of acts as like kind of like a closing your eyes sort of thing, because if it's bothering them, they can easily go into the hide and then they do not have to see that bright light. So that's always a really good option and good thing to have in your decor. So another really important thing, and this is very important about axolotls and their care, you cannot, and I mean cannot, add gravel as your substrate. And that is because the axolotl, when it eats, can easily get those rocks up in their mouth and they cannot digest them, and it can be very, very detrimental to your axolotl. So never ever would you put rocks as substrate in there. The very best alternative, if you just do not have a blank tank is sand, and that's what I absolutely love. I think it's beautiful. Sand's my favorite anyway, and that's what I plan on adding to Tilly's tank. But the reason why it's not there right yet is because she is actually not big enough. Axolotls need to be at least 5 inches to add substrate. It's just kind of like in the standards of the care guide, and so I'm waiting until she gets 5 inches, which should be this month. So soon, hopefully this girl can get sand and I can get her tank looking like a lot more like I wanted, because the bare bottom look right now is just, it's not my fave. But like I said, for substrate, no gravel, get sand. I think Tilly approves. She's watching tentatively, so that's good. So before we move on to foods, I do want to say that axolotls poop a lot, and I was told this before, but I didn't realize it until I got Tilly how much that truly is true. Like, you may think your fish poops a lot, but I'm telling you, axolotls, they poop and it gets everywhere. So you're probably going to want to clean their tank a little bit more frequently, maybe like literally once a week to, oh hi, she's swimming around, she's putting on a show. So you may want to change your axolotl's water every week to 2 weeks, because it really can get dirty. But you can spot clean it when you want, or anything like that. It doesn't matter, just as long as you know that you may have to clean it a lot more frequently than your other aquatics. Alright, so on to food. Axolotls can eat quite a little bit of a variety of food. They absolutely adore like frozen bloodworms, and they can even eat frozen brine shrimps when they are babies. That is a really good food for them. They can eat it and be absolutely happy. But once they do get older, you're not going to want to feed them that as a staple diet. Maybe as a treat, yes, but they just cannot eat that like as their main meal. It is good for treats, but no for main meal. So when they get older, you are going to want to feed them something different, and I do have a few options of things that are great for them. So number one, they can eat earthworms or night crawlers. You can get those literally at Walmart live in the fishing section, which I think is a really easy place if you are needing to go get those, if you want to actually feed your axolotl that, because I'm pretty sure everywhere you live is going to have a Walmart. Well, unless you don't live in this country. But yeah, I can't help you if you don't live in another country, because I don't really know where they sell them. But anyway, Walmart. So another thing that axolotls can eat, which Tilly absolutely adores, is what she always eats, and she very much enjoys it. And I got this recommended from the girl that I got Tilly from, and that is these. They are the Hikari Thinking Carnivore Pellets. They are optimally balanced daily use formulation, extremely flavorful, color enhancing diet, and it says perfect live food alternative. And it says select ingredients offer superb flavor and texture. So this is what they look like. And I literally got these on Amazon, but you can, I'm very sure, get them at like Petco. I don't know about PetSmart, but I know you can at Petco. And all they are little bitty pellets. Look like, oh my gosh, how do I show? Okay, if you can see that, they look like this. So besides that, they can also eat things, which this is by the same brand that I feed my babies their gel food. You can get repashy food, which you can get the grub pie mix, which is also really good for them. It is a gel food as well. I haven't tried that for Tilly yet, although I do want to, but it is the repashy gel food in the grub pie flavoring. But those are a few foods that I particularly know about that are good, and I think they would make very, very good options for your axolotl. And now let's just go ahead and get into how many times a day you would feed your axolotl. So I personally feed Tilly 2 times a day, around 5 pellets both times. And one good thing about axolotls is, and I was told this and I can see this to be true, axolotls will stop eating when they're full. Now, I'm just mainly used to bettas who, like, if you put stuff in there, like, they're gonna eat it, and that cannot be good. But axolotls, if they don't want it, then they won't eat it, or they'll just save it for later, basically. So like I said, I just do 5 in the morning, I do 5 at night. Sometimes like 1 extra will get in there, which is fine, but you know, you can find your perfect level of how much you feed them depending on your specific axolotl, and you should be a-okay. So another thing to mention about axolotls is that they do like their water more on the hard side. And if you're not familiar with what type of water you have, you can always just call your water company that is, like, you know, local, and they can tell you what they have. They do prefer, like I said, harder, and I personally, actually where I live, unfortunately have softer water, so yay for me. So basically I had to try to make my water more hard for Tilly, and I did it. I found a very easy way thanks to the girl that I got Tilly from. And so all that is basically adding a little bit amounts of baking soda to the water, which actually raises your levels and it makes them good. And around the 7.5 levels are actually really good for your axolotl. So when you test the water, that is one thing that you can look for to know that your water is good. And another way that you can actually make your water harder, which I feel like this is a little bit more of a more tedious way to do it, is using cuttle bone, which you can actually find for birds. So if you want to do it that way, you can go to Walmart or like PetSmart or anything and get cuttle bone that's for birds, and all you have to do is basically cut little pieces off and put it in your filter. But I don't know as much about that method because that one just seems harder than just putting the baking soda in like I do. So yeah, other than that, I really think that those are all of the basic things that you need to know for taking care of an axolotl. I really hope you enjoyed it and found this video very informational. I hope you enjoy seeing Tilly as well in the background. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to my channel, which you can do by hitting my face right up there. Make sure to follow me on all my social medias, and you can watch another one of my videos by clicking right here, and it would mean the world to me if you would do so. And I hope that you have a great day or night or whenever you're watching this, and I will see you guys in my next video.